Welcome back to the Inside Athletic Training Podcast. On today's episode, we talk with Dan Martin, Assistant Athletic Trainer of the St. Louis Cardinals, about his first year in the big leagues, the long road it took to get there, how he manages work-life balance during the grind of a major league season, and what he'd tell athletic training students who are just starting out. Enjoy the show. All right, Dan, welcome to the Inside Athletic Training Podcast. Excited to have you on today to talk about your career with the St. Louis Cardinals, your first year this year in the big leagues and all that good stuff. Before we get into your career and kind of the path you've taken to the big leagues, want to give you a second here to introduce yourself to our listeners, talk a little bit about your background. So, where are you from? How'd you get into athletic training? Things like that.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Sam, for having me. I guess I'm from Oregon originally, a small town in Oregon. Then for athletic training, growing up, since we were a small town, my high school, we didn't have athletic trainer or anything like that. So I really had no idea of what athletic training was until really high school time. Typical athletic trainer, I got hurt when I was a kid. So
Right.
My interest was more physical therapy. And then I would say there was one time, so growing up in Oregon, I would watch Mariners a lot, Seattle. So there's one of those inside the game, whatever, pregame shows. And I think there was something on Rick. And then that just kind of got the thought process going of I've always been into sports, so athletic training just kind of fell into my mindset. And then from there, I was into baseball, probably my favorite sport as a kid, played through high school, wanted to play in college. So I ended up at a small school in Missouri, Central Methodist, that would let me play baseball and then do athletic training as well. So that's kind of how I got into athletic training. And that just kind of kept the ball rolling from there.
Right. No, it's always interesting. You see the athletic trainers when you're younger running on the field, but there's no way back in the day when we were growing up to figure out what do these guys actually do. So things are a bit different now with access to podcasts and everything, all that information. But cool to hear that you saw Rick Griffin run on the field and kind of sparked your interest there. He's obviously a PBATS Hall of Famer and a legend in the game. Well, Dan, when you finally got to the level where you were going to break into, being a professional in the field, how'd you go about landing your first job in the Cardinals organization? Was it sending out resumes? What was it like back then for you?
So my undergrad, honestly, my head professor at Central Methodist, he actually dissuaded us to going into minor league baseball because he's
interesting.
It's back then the pay was not good for minor league. So he was it's a harder lifestyle for the pay you get. So going through undergrad, my idea really wasn't baseball. And then when I was in grad school, I had the opportunity to work independent baseball. So I went to West Texas A&M, and I was able to get on with the Amarillo Sox at the time, which was in the American Association. And, in grad school, I just needed money for this kind of a summer job type thing.
Yeah.
And then, working indie ball, I kind of fell in love with that, just working, that area. Yeah. And having guys who were in affiliated ball, that's kind of where I felt like I wanted to go. So after that, I just started applying to jobs through the PBATS Career Center. And then at a certain point, I got a call from Keith, interviewed me for that, as we just did phone interviews back when I was being hired. So no Zoom meetings back then.
Right.
Keith called me, and honestly, I just I applied to every position that was available at the time. I didn't expect to get anything right away. I just wanted to see what people were interested in or like what they were looking for.
Yeah.
And then, Keith called. Then that led to Greg Houck at the time. He called me. It's kind of funny. Like I was on winter break at the time for grad school. With the time change, everything being out in Oregon, he ended up calling me, and it was, probably 8 o'clock in the morning back then. I woke up probably 20 minutes before that and offered me the job. And I walked downstairs and told my parents, I'm like, I think I just accepted a job with the Cardinals. And like, it was just kind of, I was almost numb to it because, the Cardinals just won the World Series. And it's like, how do you not accept a job from them? So, that's awesome. How I got started with it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you're still with the Cardinals, obviously, today. I think very unique situation and being with the club for, more than a decade, almost 15 years now. When you first got started, like working short season, rookie ball, all that stuff, players are much younger, a lot of turnover in the roster. Were there any like unique challenges, or were you like slapped in the face like, wow, this is what I do now? Like what were the first couple of years like on the job when you're seeing so many different players, you're trying to figure out how professional baseball works? Were you like, did you feel prepared when you first started?
You want to say you feel prepared, but going in, like your first day is spring training, and we all know spring training is just a different ball game. There's so many people. I had this vision of like everything was going to be like immaculate going into professional baseball. And back then walked in, and the training room, I think, was 6 tables with like 3 combo units. So it was minimal resources at the time. Things have really changed since then. But like just spring training was definitely overwhelming my first year, which luckily, all the guys were very welcoming, and we really worked as a group, which was enjoyable. But just seeing the way everyone like thought about like everything, it was much more attention to detail than kind of what you do prior. So and then going out to your first short season, like Johnson City, like it's the Happy League was just you're going to small towns. There's you can say so many different interesting stories going through that year, but overall, like it was fun. Like the guys were young, they just wanted to play and kind of develop their routine. So it's always fun, like working with the younger guys.
And you made, a number of stops, obviously, between those next handful of years. Ultimately, before your role now in Memphis at Triple-A, when you get there, it's kind of an interesting place because players and athletic trainers alike are one step away from the big leagues, which is an ultimate goal for many of them. Is it a different feel when you get to Triple-A? Do you feel like you're close to like that the mountaintop for an athletic trainer? And how do you kind of like manage wanting to move up, but also kind of staying focused on where you're at?
Yeah. So I guess my first year in AAA, I wasn't actually supposed to go there in 19. I was supposed to go to Springfield, and then our who was the athletic trainer that was going to Memphis ended up accepting a job somewhere else mid spring training. So that first year was kind of a whirlwind. So it was I would say a very difficult year because learning experience for me, because I wanted to prove that I was good enough to be at the upper level and all that. But like self-evaluation type thing, I don't always ask for help well. So like we had a ton of weird injuries, and it was just trying to keep my head above water that year. And then But I would like to think I handled it well.
Yeah.
But that was the old schedule and the PCL, and
Uh-huh.
it was just traveling every 3 days. Those 6 a.m. flights. You have a ton of veteran guys, so yeah, that first year, I admit it was a struggle for me.
Yeah.
But then, well, then the next year was COVID. So my
Yeah. Just how you draw
first
it
couple
up.
of years in Triple-A were, yeah, be perfectly candid, they were difficult. But
Yeah,
then,
of course.
you kind of settle in, and yeah, like you said, you're close to the big leagues. You want to get there, but it was just staying focused.
Hmm.
Like you kept hearing, you're doing a good job, and we see you in St. Louis, but that 1 year turned into 7, and like I honestly thought, man, this is never going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed the AAA level. Like you had, like, there's obviously those difficult times, but like you just
Hmm.
like you're working with guys from other organizations that come in. You see like your guys, and like the ultimate thing is seeing the guys get the call ups, and
Yeah,
that's one of
that's
the
awesome.
coolest.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you, when you're in AAA and, I guess through the entire minor leagues with the Cardinals, you guys have such awesome big league athletic trainers, Keith Joyner, Chris Conroy, Adam Olson, just name a few of the guys there. Did you have any key mentors when you got to within the Cardinals through your, I guess last 14 years, who kind of like showed you the ropes and taught you just how professional baseball worked? Like who was most instrumental kind of in your career with the Cardinals so far?
Yeah. So the first couple years, Barry Weinberg was our senior medical advisor,
Right.
and Barry was like that perfect guy to like, he would travel around to all the affiliates, and
Mm.
he like he got you thinking of different ways of like how things should work, like
Okay.
even the simple things of like the layout of your training room. So
Right.
he was probably the most influential, like in my early career, and even like reach out to him still, like just ask him for advice
Hmm.
when you need it. The other Keith, has been like the steady guy throughout.
Yeah.
Being our medical coordinator for a long time, and like he's just yeah, like when you think of like the Cardinals, like everything we've done on the minor league side, like Keith is kind of like that rock of
Yeah.
you always could depend on him. And then yeah, Adam, CC, they've been there in the big leagues the whole time I've been around. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, uh, Adam is that easy guy to talk to. Like whenever we added more systems, like he would talk, and he would make you think of like how to go about things, and like
Hmm.
uh, yeah, and CC just he brings like he has such a energetic personality, and like
Right.
shows you how you should be in a training room every day, and like really making guys feel comfortable. And
Yeah.
AO and CC do a great job of doing all of that and making guys feel really comfortable in a training room.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's in my, more than 15 years of working with PBATS, Adam and Chris are two guys that you can talk to anytime, any place, and make you feel welcomed, and um, probably great mentors to show you how to kind of navigate the feel of a training room and how to communicate with people. So definitely understand that statement there by you. Well, Dan, when you this is your first year in the big leagues, the Cardinals, as we said before. Uh, Awesome career leading up to that, all with one club, super unique, really cool. The loyalty is unmatched there. What was it like when you got the call? Like just like a player, you get the call, you're going to the big leagues. How does that work for an athletic trainer? What were you doing? What were the feelings there when you kind of like you finally get that call you've been waiting for?
Yeah. So Hein Bloom ended up calling me. I want to say it was like mid-November. And that point, like it's been 7 years at the AAA level, and like
Hmm.
so like it gets to the end of October, and I'm just thinking, all right, I'm going back to Memphis. Just
Yeah.
feeling that out. So when he called me, honestly, it didn't really hit me until probably opening day, because like you have you're in the big leagues, like you have that excitement, but you go to spring training and been working big league camp for a while, so it's almost the same. So I would say it really didn't hit me till opening day. And St. Louis has one of the best opening days out there. So it yeah, I was kind of numb to it for a while.
Yeah,
I fully admit that.
And do you, so I know a lot of guys who I've talked to on the show, first year guys have said it really hits them, like you said, when you run onto the field, get announced opening day. What was that like? Did you have like family in the stands, people texting you, see you on the field? How was that for you?
Family in the stands, obviously had my parents out there, my wife, our kids. So it was great having them out. Yeah. So going to school in Missouri, like I honestly haven't really told anyone, because it's just want to make sure like I'm in the present and not
for sure
focusing on trying to connect with other people again, but which I know totally that probably sounds a little selfish, but
no, you gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta take care of your business on the field.
So yeah, like I'll get random text messages from friends that I went to school with, and they're like, "Are you in the Cardinals dugout?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." So
yeah, it's hard to just like doing a podcast like we're doing now or anything. It's hard to talk about yourself, and you don't want to, and you want to just kind of keep the straight and narrow and do your job. I totally get that. Well, Dan, what's in your opinion, what's been the biggest difference like between Triple-A and the big leagues? Has it been the resources you have, or maybe it's like the time you're spending, or obviously the travel's different and things are a little more glamorous at the big league level, which you've earned. What have you noticed in the first couple months in terms of differences?
Like you said, the resources are definitely different. When I was in Memphis, I was the only athletic trainer. Now we have, four, which it'll be Adam, CC, and myself traveling, and then Keith and Matt Leonard's our PT at home. So when you're at home, like you have a ton of people available to guys. Mm-hmm. So like that transition from being the only guy to multiple, like I admit is sometimes difficult, because it's like you're trying to find more stuff to do. Like
right.
In Memphis, I would go get to the field and I would work constantly up until like first pitch, I felt like. So just the difference of I've had to transition from like getting guys to like directing people what to do in the training room versus having time to go full hands-on and showing like full intention into that player that I'm working with. So like really giving the time and the focus to that player, because you have that time now. So that's been the biggest change, but the more enjoyable change, because you really can think like, hey, how am I going to make this player better today?
Right. Yeah. Definitely opens up some time to use your skills and your hands and things like that. One thing that's kind of cool about your situation is you've been with the organization longer than many of the players even. You've probably seen a lot of the guys who you're working with in the big leagues now come through, and maybe you were at stops at the affiliate level with them. Has that been a big benefit to you in terms of walking in the big league clubhouse, and you've been there, they know you, you've been with the group for so long? Has that been kind of super important in terms of you getting comfortable your first year?
Yeah, I think that's really important, because like you said, I've had every guy with me that's gone through the organization.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, like there's that familiarity. You really don't have to learn the guys. You already know. And, with our situation this year, we didn't have a lot of guys outside of the org on our roster. So, like you come in and everyone, there's that comfort level. So, it's kind of crazy to think like, I've had some of these guys since they were drafted. So
dig in more about your experience in the minor leagues a bit and how that translates. For the younger athletic trainer out there who's maybe in their first year, like someone at spring training in their first year, first internship, even people with you, or someone at rookie ball this year or instructional league, were there any like skills or aspects of athletic training that you learned at those lower levels that you think really translated most to kind of like pay off as a big league athletic trainer?
Kind of how I said initially, like when I first got to the Cardinals early, like you didn't have a lot of resources.
Yeah.
There wasn't all these gadgets that you can use. So like you had to become really good with like, your hands of manual
Hmm.
therapy and then just coupling that with exercise and like just getting them to move very well, focusing more on that. Like I think sometimes the younger athletic trainers, like it's easy to, put a laser on someone or do that. Like,
Yeah.
so it's thinking more about like, what do you want to achieve with that guy? And like, we see these guys every single day for 6 months. So you can really like learn uh, their processes and like
Hmm.
see what they need throughout the year. And then uh, for me, I think one thing that I always tried to do was end of the year write down like what worked well, what didn't work well, and then like I'll go back on that because you go throughout so many years and you have the new things that kind of
Yeah.
trump the old or like overshadow the old, but then you forget to use the things that worked really well in the past. So just looking back on what's always worked well for you, I think is something important that the younger athletic trainers could always do.
Sure,
'Cause
sure. Yeah, that makes total sense. And now that you're in the big leagues and you've done some traveling, always like to ask guys, is there a stadium you hadn't been to that you have now seen a game from the dugout that blew you away, or what stadiums have you like kind of visiting so far this year? I know it's only been a couple months.
all of them have been great. San Diego was a good spot. Like
Yeah.
there's just a ton of energy in those crowds.
Hmm.
Um, even we just came from Milwaukee, and like that was just the energy with a in division rival. Like
Yeah, that's a good one.
those are good. I'm looking forward to going to Wrigley.
Hmm.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, everywhere like has been great. Like yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you're in the big leagues. It's not
yeah,
not going to be a bad time no matter
yeah,
where you
like
go.
you think of all the like those little ballparks that you went through, like short season A ball,
Oh
and
yeah.
then you're to this, and you're like, wow, this is all amazing. So
Yeah, yeah, it's
yeah,
awesome.
there's definitely no complaints anywhere.
Right, right. Well, Dan, you mentioned your wife and kids and family. We know athletic training, there's not really much work-life balance per se. Probably at different levels it changes from rookie ball to the big leagues. Obviously, it's different. How do you balance that? Your home life and kind of being on the road so much with kids, and how do you kind of manage your work and your family as an athletic trainer in the big leagues?
Very hard to do.
Yeah.
You know, Katrina is a special person. It's hard to expect her to do all this.
Yeah.
I met, we've been together for 10 years now, but we've only been married for 2. So it's
Yeah.
like I felt guilty bringing her into this lifestyle, to be honest. So,
No, that makes sense for sure.
yeah. So it was, we spent a lot of time away from each other. Like, I
Hmm.
spend more time with the team than her. Sorry, I get a little emotional
No,
with
no,
it,
I totally
honestly.
understand. Totally understand. And
But
how old are your kids now?
so they're my stepkids, so
Okay.
they're older. So um, Megan is 27,
Okay.
Ryan is 21. So uh, they're yeah, they're great, but
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
I've yeah, it's
It's a
hard to
different
look.
lifestyle for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Like I look back and like I think of all the times I've missed with, Katrina and the kids. So, yeah, like I said, I get emotional with it sometimes.
Yeah.
Try not to, but
Yeah,
it's
it's all good.
yeah, you
We're all
definitely
human.
you look back on like everything, and like that COVID season honestly showed you how much like you do miss,
Yeah.
because we had half that year of actually being able to spend time uh, at home during the summer, and it's like,
Hmm.
wow, you really do miss a lot. But
Yeah.
it's that lifestyle that we chose.
Hmm.
We make the best of it. Like they live back in Pennsylvania, so like they come out when they can. But it's
Right.
yeah, definitely a difficult life. You have to understand that going in, and I
Hmm.
think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people get out of baseball is because it
Yeah.
is difficult. So I think for anyone, you have to understand what you're getting to. It's a
Hmm.
it's a great lifestyle, but it's a hard lifestyle too.
Yeah. No,
Um,
that it's
like
great to kind of peel back the curtain on like, hey, that's the goal of the show is to, educate younger athletic trainers on, hey, what's this what's this life actually like? I think it's important for people to know like it's not easy by any means. It's probably the least balanced work-life balance kind of career out there, and you guys are definitely servants of others. That's what I always say is in working with PBATS for, over a decade now, you see how much the athletic trainer has to care about other people and put themselves last at times. So it's always interesting and it's a good thing. It's just definitely difficult, as you mentioned. Well, Dan, you spent 14 years working towards the big leagues. You made it there. Um, in terms of what's next for you, like, are you now, is it, just doing whatever you can do to help the team, working on yourself as a professional, improving your craft? What's your kind of mindset as since you have accomplished like reaching the mountaintop to the big leagues? What's the mindset for an athletic trainer now in that position?
I think always it's trying to grow.
Hmm.
Like you mentioned it earlier. Like I'm working with Adam and Cece right now, and they've been in the big leagues for the my entire career.
Right.
So like learning from them and seeing the way they go about every day, but it's also trying to find those new things uh, that can help uh, the organization or our players each day. So,
Hmm.
trying to find those new content things that might work.
Yeah.
But yeah, always trying to have that growth mindset throughout my career. My idea of where I'm going to be at has changed the higher I've gone up. So, when I first got in baseball, you're working short season rookie ball and you think, oh, well, if I make it up to Double-A, like, I'll be happy. And,
Right. It's always
now
those
like
next
I,
levels.
I
Yeah.
can't imagine spending an entire career, like in the minor leagues. Like, it's great being in the minor leagues. There's a lot of, benefit to it, but it's, yeah, now that you are up in the major league level, you're like, wow, this is really it. But then it's like, all right, what can I do to, get it even better or,
Yeah.
get that first assistant job, maybe head athletic trainer or,
Hmm.
all that. So I think, yeah, you're always changing your mindset of like what
Yeah.
you want to do. So it's just giving yourself the opportunity for anything that comes up, really.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees that the goalposts are always moving. You get to one point, whether it's like financially or career wise, and you think when you get there you'll be done, but there's always that next step that you're looking to take. So I definitely understand that. Well, Dan, to wrap up today, last question that we usually ask our guests: any key piece or best piece of advice for someone who's maybe an athletic training student, working on their master's, wants to be a professional baseball athletic trainer, or someone even who's their first year as an intern? What's your best piece of advice for those younger athletic trainers out there who aspire to kind of one day be in a position that you are?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just get yourself out there.
Okay.
I know with a lot of things, like there isn't a huge amount of opportunity to get like hands-on stuff as there used to be. I don't think there's those as many volunteer opportunities, but anything you can find, because just like athletes, like repetition makes you better.
Right.
So just
Right.
the more you work with people, the better. So like if when you're working your A ball or even like in grad school or all that, like in your downtime, if you can pick up side work and just be able to kind of fine tune your craft, like the more and more you work, the better like hands-on feel you get. And that's, yeah, again, repetition, it's great for everyone. The more you work, the better.
Yeah, that's a common theme from a lot of your colleagues across the league is get in there, get your hands on athletes, figure out how to communicate with them, and the more the better. So that definitely makes sense there. Well, Dan, always appreciate your time. Wish you and the guys at the Cardinals nothing but the best of luck as this season continues, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sam.